Hello and welcome to NAEYC and Publisher Spotlight. And I'm so glad you're here today. I want to show you some of my very favorite books for this year's NAEYC. So hang on and we're going to take a quick tour of 20 books, maybe more. I don't know. Let's see. Let's start off with this one, Un Poco Perdido. And Un Poco Perdido is by Chris Houghton. And you may think that looks a lot like Little Owl Lost. And you're right, it is Little Owl Lost. But did you know these are in Spanish? Don't worry, not all the books I'm going to be showing you are in Spanish, but this one is. And also the John Clausen books, you know, I Want My Hat Back and all those books, those are in Spanish now too. So be sure to check these out from Nube Ocho. Moving on from a little owl who's lost to a polar bear who might be lost because it might be hard to see a polar bear in the snow. This is by Mac Barnett and Sean Harris. And the cool thing about this is, you know, you think it'd be hard to see a polar bear in the snow. But in this case, maybe not so much. You can watch the interview with the author and illustrator here, but as you can see, the art is amazing in this book. And who knew there were so many different ways to draw white and blue, and so gorgeous, and fantastic text as well. So this is Polar Bear in the Snow from Candlewick by that incredible team that is known, they've known each other since they were on the soccer team together in elementary school. Watch the interview, you can find out more. So while we're talking about colors, let's talk about the Forgotten Crayon. This is from Mine Edition, and this is a story, actually would pair really well with The Day the Crayons got, ran away. And this is by Yoko Maruyama, and this is a story about a kid who just loves using all the crayons. Here, I'll move back a little bit. Using all the crayons, and the cool thing about this is that there's one crayon he just doesn't use very much. So you're thinking, why is that cool? It's cool because in the very end, there's a little girl who finds the crayon box, and that is the one crayon she wants to use the most. So we all have a reason and a purpose in our life. We may think that it's not obvious. It may not be obvious to some people, but to other people, it may be perfectly obvious. And it's just a very lovely story, and the illustrations, which I should show you, are just beautiful. See, isn't that beautiful? Yeah. And this is the Forgotten Crayon from Mine Edition, who does just gorgeous books. Watch the interview with Maria Russo, who's the new publisher for them. And you might even win a collection of books from them. Speaking of drawing, how about When I Draw a Panda? So this one is from Simon & Schuster, and this is a wonderful story about just letting your drawing be what you want it to be. You don't have to draw inside the lines. You can be whatever you want to be. And in this case, you can make a wild panda. So this is about expressing yourself. The next book, I'm Not a Mouse. So that was from Simon & Schuster. This one is from Child's Play. And I'm Not a Mouse is for that kid who's always being called a diminutive and may not necessarily like it very much. So I don't know about you, but I actually was called Mouse for many years. And I don't think I'm a mouse. I didn't think I was a mouse then. I really knew it was a problem when one year everybody gave me the same little wax mouse candlestick for Christmas. That was a good clue. Anyway, I'm Not a Mouse is a girl who decides to stand up for herself. She does not want to be a mouse. She doesn't want her mom to call her Mouse. She doesn't want everybody to call her Mouse. There you go. Let's see the fun illustrations. She's going to be who she is, which in this case happens to be Olivia. So there's a power name. That's I'm Not a Mouse. Speaking of another power name, so many books called Lulu this year. Have you noticed that? So this is from Imagination Press, and this is Lulu, the one and only. And this is for those kids who, when people look at them, they start making assumptions about their family. And they feel like they have to make explanations. You know what? You are who you are. You don't have to explain that. So this deals with a very real situation in many, many families and many, many communities. But this is a beautiful story. It's not what you are, it's who you are. So there you go. Lulu, the one and only Lulu. And this is a beautiful celebration of a girl who is just not comfortable in her own skin, but in the end, her mom really helps understand that she is beautiful just as she is. This is by Charlotte Watson Sherman and illustrations by Achim, and just fantastic. So this is from Boyd's Mills Press. And all the different shades of brown. So I would pair this one with I Am Brown and Magnificent Homespun Brown. There's so many beautiful books that celebrate brown these days. And you know, you could do a whole brown story time, and you could have at least last for an hour or two, maybe even a week. Let's go for that, shall we? Speaking of families and the different makeups of families, here's Families Belong. And this one's from Penguin Workshop, and I just love this book. It's silly, it's calm, cozy, and it's loving. And this is about a non-traditional family. And as you can see, it's a noodle loaf. There's a song. And there's even a way you can listen to the song. Just a really fun book to share with people. And lots of movement. So speaking of families belonging together, here is The Heart of Mi Familia. And this is also from Imagination Press. And this is two different cultures coming together and becoming one family. And I want to show you the illustrations because they're so beautiful in this. So there you go. Just a celebration of coming together and celebrating the ways we can do that through family. And families get bigger. And in this case, the new baby me, this one's from Tiny Owl. This is about a band of brothers who just can't wait for that new baby brother to arrive. But you know what? Turns out it's not a baby brother. Even though they've been thinking about all the different things that baby brother can be, it turns out it is a baby sister. And she can be whatever she wants to be just as much as the boys can. These illustrations are so much fun. They're done in collage. And there's even, okay, there's the girl shot. There's even information in the back about how you can create your own collages with Hoda Haddadi, who is the illustrator of this book. And speaking of new babies, this is a really fun book. Special delivery from Cicada Books by Elliot Krasinski. And this is about a family, a little duck who's just waiting for his new brother to come. And the turtle keeps delivering the wrong baby. Before you know it, his house is covered up with babies that are not his little brother. But it turns out eventually he does get his little brother. So it's got a happy ending, and it's really fun. It also goes all the different animals. So he's so excited about having that little baby brother. And Shine Baby Shine is a great follow-up to that. So this is also from Boys Mouse Press. And this is just a celebration of babies. That's just beautiful read aloud, very gentle language. I could see this being the perfect bedtime book for really, really young ones. Baby, you came into this world with a mighty light inside, glorious, gleaming, miraculous, beaming. So much fun to read aloud. And that is Shine Baby Shine. Next up, sometimes babies don't shine. Sometimes it's time to change their diaper. So here we have Please Don't Change My Diaper from Inhabit Media. You know, and some babies just don't like it. And I think this may be one of the cutest babies I've seen in an illustrated book in a long time. So, I mean, come on. How can you resist this face? So adorable. So, goes outside, because this is, Inhabit Media is based in Iqaluit in Nunavut, so that is really far north. And then it becomes time to change the diaper, and this baby does not want it changed. But the good thing about when it's changed is then you're fresh and ready for another adventure. So there you go. And of course you got to celebrate the love of that. So you're thinking, what does it have in common with our next book, which is The Thing About Bees? Well, this is not only a nonfiction book about bees, but it also is a love letter to the author's children, to their boys. So you find out all this cool nonfiction information in the context of this wonderful relationship of a father and his sons. And also he's an illustrator and a narrator. So the cool thing about this, because there are so many cool things, is that not only is he a narrator, but his boys are on the actual audiobook. They're making all the bzzz sounds. A great book for sharing aloud. That is from Readers to Eaters, and the audio is from Live Oak Media. So let's talk about things that grow, because to have bees need to pollinate, and one of the things they pollinate are trees, and here's a tree and it grows. Was that transition worth it? I don't know, we'll see. This is from Britta Teckentroop, and as always, she brings the cool magic with die cuts, as you can see. So, kindness grows, and it grows and grows and grows, as you can see, from little seed, bigger and bigger, until the very end. It takes over the whole book. So we're going to find it. There you go. And the leaves go away, but kindness still grows and flows, and it's beautiful. got Melina's jam. So Melina loves to make jam, and she's kind of, you know, she's an introvert. Let's just say that she's not out there, but she just loves doing what she does, which is to make the jam. And she has so much that she decides to share it. And by sharing, there's a great way to make friends. So there you see her making it. And before long, she's sharing her jam with everybody, all of her forest friends. So while we're talking about the forest, let's go to this book. I should have mentioned Melina's jam is from Disney. You can tell it's got kind of a Disney in the most positive way. This is also from mine edition, While You're Away. Did you know that when you're not watching trees, they're still growing? That if you're not in the woods, things are still happening? If you're not someplace, there's an equal center of self. That's what this story is all about. And aren't these illustrations just spectacular? I love this oversized format too. Very effective for sharing in groups, and also as a lap set, really spectacular lap set situation. So that is While You're Away. Sometimes it's nice to stop and smell the blueberries. And this is a story about doing just that, about slowing down. So this is Hurry Up by Kate Myrick and illustrated by Christopher Silas Neal. And this is published by Beach Lane. And we are excited to share this one with you because sometimes you do have to just kind of slow down. Actually, that's one thing the pandemic has been good at doing, is making us all stop. Illustrations are really, really fun. Stop for a moment, take stock, see where you are, breathe in, breathe out, and that is hurry up. How about slowing down? And speaking of hurrying up, here is a character who is known for taking the long way to Grandma's house. So this is from Peachtree, and it's newly available in paperback, so you need to get these books. These are so much fun to share. These are not your typical fairy tales. And I say fractured fairy tale, but this is almost like a little bit of feminist fairy tale too. Just super fun. The illustrations are fantastic. This was a New York Times 10 Best Illustrated winner. And there's so much life in them. And menace. And in the end, I mean, this is just so much fun, right? You can also play book face. Yeah. So, Little Red, in the end, she wins. And she's got a new way of looking at things, kind of like this kid in the Rainy Day Rocket Ship, who looks at the things around his house and is able to make himself a rocket ship. So it's about STEM, it's about imagination, and the illustrations, again, this is by Charlie Palmer, are just fun. Just love these. Love how it kind of conveys a sense that this is what's happening in his head, what's happening in his life. Just needs a launching pad. Yep, very, very fun. And that's from Simon & Schuster. And next up we have Rain Before Rainbows. So this is my rainy day rocket ship. You can build a rocket ship on a rainy day, or you can think about the rainbows. Sometimes you have to have the rain before you have the rainbows. It can be hard to see them, but with courage and the help of good friends, there's always a way out of the darkness. And again, this is gorgeous. It's by Srini Prasadam Alls, and the pictures are with David Litchfield. We've all had days like this, haven't we? Maybe even recently. Isn't this just gorgeous? I could just live in these illustrations. That is Rain Before Rainbows. And lastly, I Am the Storm. So climate change is here, and storms are much more common than they used to be. And this is a book about those storms. This is by Jane Yolen and Heidi Stempel. So you know Jane Yolen, and Heidi Stempel's her daughter. And the illustrations are by Kristen and Kevin Howdeshell. And this is just gorgeous, from Penguin Workshop. When the wind howled and blew loud as a train. Oh goodness. Can I turn this page? I know it turns. I don't want to leave you on Tetra books. We had a party in the basement with Grandma, reading books and playing games with the flashlight. So this is the experience of having to hide, be safe during the storm, what you do after the storm. And the illustrations are amazing. How the shells have the magic there. And you know what? It's okay to be scared. Sometimes stuff is going on in the world and you kind of are afraid, and that's all right. So these are just a few of my very favorite books that you'll find in our NAEYC booth. I hope you'll get a chance to look around in our online booth and then look at our Pinterest boards where we have them separated by different types. Board books, picture books, nonfiction, social emotional learning, you name it, we probably have it there. World languages, a lot more Spanish if you're looking for Spanish. But so much to see, and we're so glad you stopped by. Thanks, and have a great NAEYC.